There's no mystery why relationships go wrong. It doesn't matter if it's a marriage, friendship, or some other important relationship. There are certain predictable features of every sideways relationship. In our Sideways Relationship Coaching program, you'll learn about what causes relationships to go sideways. But you'll learn something much more valuable than that. You'll learn how to get your relationships right again. We can show you the path forward. Right now, here's all that you need to know. There's hope. There's hope for finding happiness again. There's hope for learning the skills and tools that you need to grow healthier relationships. And there's hope for a brighter tomorrow. So don't give up. You're just starting. You might be on the verge of a real breakthrough. Work through these lessons and see what insights you gain. Let's get the big picture of what you'll learn in the Sideways Relationship Coaching program. Like we said, there's a predictable pattern to why relationships go wrong. Nobody starts with the expectation that a new relationship will go sideways, but many end up that way. Too many relationships end up breaking up or just staying sideways. But it doesn't have to be that way. Your relationships that have gone wrong can get right again. The first thing that you have to do to get those relationships right again is to learn about the gap. You'll learn more about this in Lesson 2. The gap is the space between the beginning of a relationship, when everything seems wonderful, and the breakup, when everyone is miserable. Something happens in the gap, and what happens there is very predictable. At the beginning of the gap, if you trace it all the way back to its roots, is some disappointment. In Lesson 3, you'll get more insight on how to decode the hidden messages within these disappointments. Disappointments arise from some unfulfilled expectation, some unmet need, some unwanted circumstance, or some unnecessary hurt. And we typically don't know what to do with these disappointments. But in this program, you'll learn positive ways to move forward. Without knowing how to process disappointments in healthy ways, we resort to doing what comes naturally. However, what comes naturally only serves to worsen the problem. What comes naturally is blame, and blame always increases polarization in the relationship. It's public enemy number one. But we don't know what to do with it, especially when we've suffered some unnecessary hurt. We'll show you how to deal with blame once and for all. But first, let's talk more about the gap. In the gap, communication breaks down. It's not that sideways persons aren't talking. Sometimes they do a lot of talking. But what they're saying doesn't lead towards resolution. It only deepens hurt and misunderstanding. And that just makes matters worse. Couples in the gap get caught in the cycle of dysfunction, a merry-go-round that's anything but merry. And in Lesson 4, you'll learn how to get off this ride for good. The secret is to solve for X. In Lesson 5, we'll show you how to do that, how to solve for X. Solving for X is the only way to end the cycle of dysfunction. It's the key to turning around communication breakdowns. It's the way to disengage from blame once and for all. And it's the way to process your disappointments that caused you to go sideways in the first place. Solving for X is a skill well worth learning, and we can show you how to do that. We can show you how to cross the bridge from the gap to healthy ways of relating. Once you leave old unproductive habits behind, you must learn new ways of processing and managing your disappointments. We'll talk about this in Lessons 7 and 8. No matter how many good habits you learn, disappointments are bound to come. They're inevitable. However, the key is not trying to prevent the inevitable, but rather learning what to do when disappointments arise. One essential skill is learning more effective ways of communicating, including learning how to handle defensiveness and resistance through power listening. We cover these topics in Lesson 9. Don't stop short of learning the skills revealed in this lesson. It might just change your life and relationships forever. Okay, let's get real. Sometimes no matter what you do, no matter how much you grow, no matter how many skills you acquire, the other person in the relationship may not be open to positive change. That's when you need to figure out how to set redemptive boundaries. Redemptive boundaries aren't punitive. They're meant to redeem the relationship and promote your well-being. Boundaries are not tricks that you use to manipulate your partner into giving you what you want. They're tools to serve both the health of the relationship and your personal well-being. In Lesson 10, we'll show you how and when to set healthy boundaries, as well as how to add into your relationships the building blocks that help love to blossom and deeper intimacy to take root. Yes, there's hope. You can discover love for a lifetime, but first, you're going to have to figure out how to get your sideways relationships right again. And if that's your goal, then we can help. Work through each lesson. Go at your own pace. Practice the skills that you learn along the way and discover how you can grow healthier and happier relationships.